watched, not just by the people in front of you, but by those deciding your value in silence. Every public moment is a quiet test. Every reaction is noted. Every mistake is remembered longer than you think. Machiavelli warned us about this centuries ago. Power is rarely lost in private, it is lost in public. One careless gesture, one emotional response, one moment of weakness, and the way people treat you changes forever. In this video, I'll reveal 10 things you must never do in public if you want to protect your reputation, command respect, and build an unbreakable inner fortress. These are not manners, they are laws of power. Stay with me until the end, because the final rule is the one that separates those who are controlled from those who control themselves, and most people break it without ever realizing it. If you're ready to move with discipline, silence, and authority, subscribe to this channel, The Inner Fortress. Like this video and share it with someone who needs control more than motivation. Now listen carefully, because once you understand these rules, you can never move the same way again. 1. Never display emotional weakness in public. Power begins with perception. And perception is shaped first by how you handle your emotions when eyes are on you. Machiavelli understood something most people never learn. People respect control, not honesty of emotion. The world does not reward emotional transparency in public spaces. It rewards composure. When you show emotional weakness openly, anger, desperation, anxiety, hurt, you give away leverage. You announce that your inner state can be influenced, provoked, or manipulated. And once people sense that, they adjust how they treat you. This does not mean suppressing emotions forever. It means choosing the right place in the right moment. Public spaces are arenas of silent judgment. Private spaces are where healing belongs. Notice the difference between leaders and followers. Leaders feel emotions just as deeply, but they delay expression. They pause. They regulate. They respond instead of reacting. Public emotional displays rarely bring sympathy. They bring labels. Too sensitive, unstable, hard to work with, and once a label sticks, it's almost impossible to erase. Machiavelli warned that reputation is fragile. It takes years to build and seconds to destroy. Emotional outbursts are among the fastest ways to lose authority. Think carefully. Have you ever truly respected someone more after watching them lose control in public? Or did your respect quietly decrease, even if you didn't admit it? The Stoics taught emotional mastery not because emotions are bad, but because uncontrolled emotion makes you predictable. And predictability is weakness. When people know what triggers you, they know how to move you. They know when to push. They know when you'll break. Silence, on the other hand, creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates caution, and caution creates respect. If something angers you publicly, acknowledge it internally, but delay expression. If something hurts you, absorb it quietly. Strength is not pretending you feel nothing. Strength is refusing to perform your emotions for an audience. Remember this rule: what you reveal emotionally in public becomes currency others can spend against you. Control your face. Control your tone. Control your reactions. The strongest people in the room are rarely the loudest or most expressive. They are the calmest. And calm is power. 2. Never argue loudly or defend yourself emotionally. Nothing lowers your status faster than a public argument. The moment you raise your voice, interrupt, or begin defending yourself emotionally, you have already lost, regardless of whether you're right. Machiavelli observed that those who appear defensive appear guilty, even when they are not. Public arguments shift attention away from truth and toward behavior. And behavior is what people judge first. When you argue loudly, you signal insecurity. You show that your self-worth depends on being understood immediately. That need repels respect. Powerful individuals do not rush to defend themselves. They allow silence to do the heavy lifting. They understand that dignity speaks louder than explanations. Most people argue not to resolve issues, but to protect ego, and ego-driven arguments always leak desperation. Watch carefully. The calmer person in a disagreement almost always gains the audience's silent support. The emotional one loses credibility with every sentence. Machiavelli warned against appearing reactive. Reactivity makes you look controlled by circumstances instead of commanding them. If someone attacks you publicly, your restraint becomes a weapon. Silence unsettles aggressors. It forces them to overextend, reveal motives, and appear unstable. You do not need to win every argument. You need to protect your image. Stoicism teaches that insults only harm you if you accept them. When you argue loudly, you accept them publicly. The strongest response is often a calm acknowledgement, or no response at all. There is a reason respected figures rarely explain themselves to crowds. Explanation invites debate. Debate invites erosion of authority. When you must speak, speak briefly, slowly, without emotion. Never raise your voice to be heard. If people need volume to listen to you, you already lack presence. Remember, arguments are remembered. Calmness is respected. Preserve your energy. Preserve your posture. Preserve your silence. Public arguments fade quickly, but the image they create lasts. 3. Never reveal your next move or ambitions. The moment you announce your plans publicly, you weaken them. Machiavelli was clear. Those who reveal intentions lose strategic advantage. Your goals are safest when they are invisible. Most people talk because they crave validation. They want applause before results. But premature exposure invites interference, envy, and sabotage. Silence protects momentum. When you tell people your next move, 3 things happen. Some will doubt you. Some will discourage you. Some will secretly hope you fail. Even support can be dangerous. It creates pressure, expectations, a performance mindset instead of a growth mindset. The Stoics valued quiet progress. They believed action speaks best when it arrives complete. Power moves in silence. Noise is for those seeking approval. Notice the pattern. The most successful people often surprise others with results, not promises. Public ambition attracts comparison. Comparison attracts competition. And competition distracts focus. Machiavelli warned that envy is one of the most destructive human emotions. And nothing fuels envy faster than announced ambition. When you move quietly, you deny others the chance to interfere. You deny them the chance to plant doubt. You deny them the chance to prepare against you. Speak less. Work more. Let people see outcomes, not effort. Let them hear success, not intention. This rule alone separates amateurs from strategists. Ambition is powerful, but exposed ambition is fragile. Protect it. 4. Never beg for attention, validation, or approval. The fastest way to lose respect in public is to ask for it indirectly. Begging does not always look like desperation. Sometimes it looks like oversharing. Sometimes it sounds like constant joking. Sometimes it hides behind excessive kindness or forced confidence. But the signal is the same. Please see me, please approve of me. Machiavelli warned that those who seek favor publicly place themselves beneath those they seek it from. The moment you chase validation, you surrender leverage. Powerful people do not announce their value. They allow others to discover it. Public validation seeking creates a subtle imbalance. You position yourself as the one who needs something, attention, affirmation, acceptance. And need is weakness in the social hierarchy. Think about it carefully. Who do you respect more? The person constantly explaining themselves, or the one who stands calmly without explanation? Approval-seeking behavior trains people to treat you casually. If you must ask to be taken seriously, you won't be the Stoics taught self-sufficiency for a reason. When your self-worth depends on the crowd controls you. Public spaces magnify this effect. One moment of neediness can define how people see you long after the moment passes. This includes fishing for compliments, posting for attention, subtle complaints disguised as jokes, excessive self-deprecation to appear humble. All of it signals insecurity. True confidence is quiet. It does not lean forward. It does not explain. It does not beg. Machiavelli understood that people follow those who appear complete without them, not those who seek emotional reinforcement from them. Here is the rule: never place your self-worth in the hands of an audience. If you want attention, build competence. If you want approval, build discipline. If you want respect, remove need from your behavior. Silence where others seek applause. Composure where others seek reassurance. That contrast alone elevates you. 5. Never speak negatively about yourself or others. Words shape perception, and perception shapes power. When you speak negatively about yourself in public, you believe you are being honest or humble. In reality, you are giving others permission to see you as lesser. Machiavelli warned that reputation is built not on intention, but on repetition. What you say repeatedly becomes what people believe, about you and about others. Self-criticism spoken aloud does not make you relatable. It makes you predictable. People remember what you emphasize. If you emphasize your flaws, others will too. The same applies when you speak negatively about others. Gossip may feel like bonding, but it signals disloyalty and insecurity. Those listening know one thing. If you speak about others this way, you will speak about them too. Powerful individuals are selective with words. They do not degrade themselves for laughs. They do not destroy others to elevate themselves. Stoicism teaches verbal restraint because speech reveals inner order, or inner chaos. Negative speech lowers the tone of your presence. It makes you common. Machiavelli understood that leaders must appear measured, not reactive. Criticism spoken publicly often exposes emotion rather than judgment. There is also a deeper danger. When you speak negatively about yourself, you train your mind to accept limitation. Your words become self-programming. Public speech is never neutral. It is either strengthening your image or weakening it. Now pause here. If this channel helps you build discipline, clarity, and quiet power, subscribe to the Inner Fortress. Like this video and share it with someone who needs control more than motivation. We build strength here, not noise. Back to the rule: speak with intention. If words do not improve your image or your understanding, silence is superior. Protect your reputation by protecting your language. 6. Never show desperation or neediness. Desperation is the loudest emotion without sound. It appears in rushed speech, in over-texting, in hovering, in excessive availability, in forcing outcomes. Machiavelli warned that neediness places you in a weaker negotiating position, socially, emotionally, and strategically. When people sense desperation, they instinctively pull away. Not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. Desperation signals imbalance. It tells others that you need something more than they need you. Power always flows toward the less dependent party. In public, neediness erodes mystery. It removes tension. It removes respect. Stoicism teaches self-mastery because inner stability makes you unmovable. Neediness makes you bend toward external forces. This applies to relationships, friendships, work, and status. When you chase responses, you lower your value. When you rush explanations, you signal fear. When you seek immediate reassurance, you reveal insecurity. The calm person who can wait always appears stronger than the one who cannot. Machiavelli understood timing. He knew that restraint creates gravity. Desperation creates noise. Noise attracts attention briefly, but respect never stays. Here is the discipline. Slow down your responses. Reduce emotional urgency. Detach your peace from outcomes. When you remove desperation, people lean in. When you remove neediness, presence increases. You do not need to perform value. You need to embody it, and embodiment requires calm. Next step, 7. Never over-explain or justify yourself. Over-explaining is one of the most subtle ways people give away power in public. It rarely feels like weakness when you're doing it. It feels like clarity. It feels like fairness. It feels like setting the record straight. But Machiavelli understood something uncomfortable. The more you explain yourself, the less authority you appear to have. Justification places you on trial. It suggests that others are entitled to your reasons, your motives, your inner logic. Powerful people do not live in constant defense mode. They allow their actions to speak, and their silence to set boundaries. When you over-explain, you reveal insecurity. You signal that being misunderstood frightens you. And fear is always visible, even when words are polished. Public spaces magnify this effect. Every extra sentence weakens the original point. Every justification opens a door for debate. The Stoics taught brevity not as a communication style, but as a discipline of self-respect. If your decision is sound, it does not require performance. Machiavelli warned that authority is damaged when leaders seek to be liked rather than obeyed. Over-explaining is an attempt to be liked. Silence, on the other hand, communicates confidence. It suggests certainty. It implies that your position is settled. This does not mean being rude or dismissive. It means being selective. Speak when clarity is required. Stop when justification begins. People who matter will understand. People who don't will never be satisfied anyway. There is also a strategic element. The more you explain, the more information you give away. Information creates leverage for others. Say less. Say it slowly. Say it once. Restraint is not weakness. It is control. 8. Never laugh too loud, too much, or too often. Joy is not weakness, but uncontrolled expression of it can quietly damage your presence. Machiavelli was deeply aware of image. He knew that how a person carries themselves in public determines how seriously they are taken. Excessive laughter signals comfort without boundaries. It makes you appear available, casual, easily pleased. Respect requires a degree of distance. This does not mean becoming cold or joyless. It means measured expression. Notice how authority behaves in rooms of influence. Smiles are brief. Laughter is controlled. Emotion is expressed, not spilled. The Stoics believed emotional balance was essential to dignity. When laughter becomes uncontrollable, dignity slips quietly away. Public laughter can also become performative. A way of seeking inclusion. A way of softening presence. A way of avoiding silence. But silence is not an enemy. Silence creates weight. People lean toward those who appear composed. Not rigid, composed. When you laugh excessively, you tell others that you are easy to entertain. That you seek lightness over depth. Machiavelli warned against appearing frivolous in serious environments. People may enjoy you, but they will not trust you with power. Choose when to express joy. Choose when to remain calm. Controlled warmth earns respect. Uncontrolled expression earns familiarity. And familiarity, when unmanaged, reduces authority. Balance is the discipline. 9. Never chase respect. Commanded respect cannot be requested. The moment you ask for it, you prove you don't have it. Machiavelli understood this clearly. Power that must be demanded is already weak. Respect is not created by insistence, explanations, or emotional reactions. It emerges naturally from presence, consistency, and boundaries. When you chase respect, you reveal dependence on external approval. Independence always lowers your position. Publicly demanding recognition, fairness, or acknowledgement often backfires. It makes people defensive. It invites silent resistance. It turns observers against you without them even realizing why. Commanding respect is different. It is quiet. It is behavioral. You command respect by how you speak, slow, measured, intentional. By how you move, calm, unhurried, grounded. By how you respond, never rushed, never reactive. Stoicism teaches that self-respect precedes all external respect. If you tolerate poor treatment, you teach others how to treat you. Boundaries are not announced loudly. They are enforced consistently. Machiavelli warned that those who seek to be loved over respected eventually lose both. Respect lasts longer than affection because it is rooted in strength, not emotion. Notice this truth. People often treat you how you allow them to treat you. If you laugh off disrespect, it returns stronger. If you over-explain boundaries, they are tested again. If you tolerate humiliation, it becomes normalized. Commanding respect means choosing discomfort now over disrespect later. Silence can be a boundary. Distance can be a boundary. Withdrawal of access can be a boundary. You do not need to raise your voice. You do not need to threaten. You do not need to explain. Consistency does the work. When people know that certain behaviors will not be tolerated, they adjust. Not because you demanded it, but because you demonstrated it. Machiavelli emphasized perception. Your actions must align with your standards, or your standards mean nothing. If you say you value time but allow it to be wasted, respect fades. If you say you value honesty but tolerate manipulation, authority dissolves. Commanding respect begins internally. It requires discipline. It requires restraint. It also requires patience. Respect grows slowly, but once established, it is difficult to remove. Those who rush for it never earn it. Those who build it quietly carry it everywhere. Remember this. Respect is not something you chase in public. It is something you radiate. And people feel it long before they speak it. 10. Never forget that power is silent. This is the most important rule of all. Power does not announce itself. It does not explain itself. It does not seek recognition. Machiavelli understood that true power operates quietly, shaping outcomes while remaining unseen. Noise is for the insecure. Silence is for the strategic. The most dangerous person in the room is rarely the loudest. It is the one observing, listening, calculating. Stoicism reinforces this truth. Inner mastery removes the need for external validation. And when you need nothing, you become difficult to control. Public displays of power often signal its absence. Threats, boasting, dominance games. Real power does not perform. It positions. Silence creates. When they don't know your next move, they hesitate. This is not manipulation. It is discipline. Power is preserved through restraint, through patience, through the refusal to react impulsively. The inner fortress is built quietly, brick by brick. Habit by habit. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. The less you say, the more people listen. The less you display, the more people imagine. And imagination is where influence lives. If this content sharpened your awareness, strengthened your discipline, or made you pause and reflect, subscribe to the Inner Fortress. Like this video, share it with someone who mistakes noise for power. Here, we don't perform strength. We build it silently. Finally, if you've stayed until now, understand this. Most people never lose power loudly. They lose it quietly, through small public mistakes they repeat every day. Machiavelli warned us not because he feared human nature, but because he understood it. People are always watching, always measuring, always deciding how far they can go with you. What you do in public shapes how you are treated in private. Your silence, your restraint, your composure, these are not passive traits. They are strategic weapons. You don't need to intimidate. You don't need to explain. You don't need to perform strength. Real power is felt, not announced. It moves quietly, it waits, it endures. The inner fortress is not built in moments of applause. It is built in moments of restraint, when you choose discipline over reaction, silence over ego, and control over comfort. If this video sharpened your awareness, then you are already different. Indifference, when guided by discipline, becomes dominance. Subscribe to the Inner Fortress if you are done being reactive and ready to become unshakable. Like this video so this message reaches others who need control more than motivation. Share it with someone who confuses noise for strength. Remember this as you step back into the world. The strongest people are rarely noticed at first, but they are never forgotten. Stay disciplined, stay silent, stay powerful.